Okay, it is saying we are live. Sometimes it takes a second. Hello, YouTube folks. Okay, it's working. All right, I'm gonna minimize that. Thank you for always working through this with me. The tech, it's so interesting how sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. All right. Let's see here. I have a lot to close to make sure everything works. All right. Let's read. Okay, so before we get started, I was just asking the folks on our Zoom here if anybody, we were trying to do this challenge of like not buying any art supplies. So some people are talking about that, and I'll read that in a minute. But first of all, I want to say thank you so much for joining me on today's Painting with Joy, or this evening's Painting with Joy, really where you are. Today's Painting with Joy. The Coffee Club folks, thank you so much for your constant support. And I just really appreciate you, Christine, Esther, Asma, Miss Katz, Margaret, Laura, Leslie, Heather, Carla, Marilyn, those that want to stay anonymous. These are the folks that have recently donated in the past couple months or so. So I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. And so today we are going to, another thing about housekeeping here on YouTube. You won't, I won't see your comments till after, so I'll check on that later. And those of you on the Zoom call, you won't be able to see my face when we switch the camera, but if you watch the recording later, you will be able to see it. Oh, there's Linda on YouTube. Hi, Linda. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna switch my screen for YouTube, and I will catch you all in a little bit. And those of you on Zoom. All right. So we're talking about not buying any art supplies and how has that been going for you? For me, it has been, let's just say my cart is full with a lot of saved for laters. So a lot of the stuff is like saved for next year. But Leslie shared before that they had a gift certificate to spend and they could have spent it 10 times. I mean, it is easy to spend, right? I mean, plus art supplies are not the cheapest nowadays. Leslie says, I have so many supplies already, but I did buy a few classes, cheap ones with my Christmas money, but no art supplies. Oh, Leslie, I see you. Okay, I get it. That's great. Candy, I haven't bought anything new. We'll be sending you a PayPal gift per my husband. Oh, thank you. Clearing supplies I don't use and donating to the art center. That is a great idea. I am going to have to do that, like looking through the stuff that I have not used in a while and seeing where I can donate that, because I feel like I will also have boxes delivered like you, Candy. Heather said, inspired by David Hockney. He started during COVID at the age of 80. Yes. Oh, yes. The painting on an iPad. Absolutely, Heather. If you have not, check out David Hockney's paintings on an iPad. I think he has a whole book out about it now, but it is just amazing, the drawings that he does and how he's embraced this type of art. I think he draws a flower, or he tries to draw something every morning and he sends it out to his friends. I'm assuming there's like a group chat that he sends it to, which is really cool. But anyway, let me talk to you about the supplies that we are going to be using today. I will be using, in the spirit of using what you have, this is, I'm shaking. There we go. I am using, this is a set of Mission, I can never say it right, Mission Migello, Migello. I'll try to see if I can find the right spelling for it. Paints, and they are super vibrant. Super vibrant. I love them so much. They were my very first set when I first started, and it just made me love watercolors. So that's the Mission paints. and they last a long time. And then I have a brush. And as you can see, these paints I haven't used in a while. I had to break it out, and look, pieces are falling. Does that sometimes happen to your paints? Like just pieces fall, and then you just have to kind of figure out where it went. Anyway, so that is... Sorry, I'm just adjusting to make sure it's not crooked for you. There we go. So yeah, I've been using, or I'm trying to use that today. I have some pencils, which I've been, I love the pencils, and then some markers. Really, I'm trying to simplify too, so there's not too many things out, and I'm going to try to just paint with what I have. All right, so Carol says, with Joann's going out of business, I might need to stock up on a few supplies. Ooh, yeah, that's true. You might have to. And Donna says, been trying Procreate for digital drawing. It is a wonderful tool, Donna, so definitely keep going with that. All right, so today we are going to be painting or be inspired by Raoul Dufy. I hope I said that name right. I looked on Google for the pronunciation. Does anybody else do that? Use Google to see how to pronounce things. So I used Google to see how to pronounce the name, and that is what Google said. So Raoul Dufy. And as you know, I love the super, super loose type of painting. So I just fell in love. I mean, look at that. Super loose, not super precise. It makes me kind of just want to look out the window and just paint, That's what this reminds me of. There's a Pinterest page on the PDF, which has so many of his paintings. So if you get a chance, check out the PDF that has all of the work that I have been able to find. And I mean, look at this. So beautiful, right? Loose and free. This almost looks like Procreate art, but it's not. It was, I love his interiors. Of course, some of these things you cannot see very well because of my screen, but when you get a chance, definitely take a look. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to practice using this particular still life. We're going to practice using the still life, and then we'll do our own inspired by this photo. All right, so if you want to get your stuff out or your tools out, I'm just going to use white paper because, like I said, in the spirit of not buying any supplies, I wanted to use craft paper or the tone tan paper, but I decided to try white paper this time since I haven't done it in a long time. So here we go. I'm going to start with this page, and up to you if you want to do the whole thing like we do before, or if you want to just do parts of it. I'm going to move this over a little bit so you can see. And I think I'm going to first, I'm just looking at this as how I want to tackle it. I think I want to first, if there's a glare on your screen, by the way, maybe it'll be good to open it up on another device, because sometimes that's what happens. It just ends up being so glary since it's an iPad. Okay, so I'm going to start with watercolor, I think, and I'm just going to plop everything down, then come back and add some paints. Okay, I am going to start. I want to do the whole thing, but I think I'm just, for time, going to try to do this little part, right? So I'm going to take some blue. This is always the tricky part, getting something down on paper. And I'm just mixing, however, Notice I'm painting out of the box today. There's no box. You know how I love boxes. So this is this portion right here. I'm just gonna map out the window. And I'm just using paint just right on the page, throwing it on there. Just seeing how it looks. So a little bit about Raoul Dufy while you're working. He was a French artist renowned for his vibrant decorative style, which I showed you. It's super vibrant. I mean, like the colors are just, they sing to you. And he actually was inspired by Claude Monet and a lot of the different impressionists, which is great. And you can see that in his work, actually, when he's painting, or not he's painting, in his paintings. It's so funny because for some reason, I always refer to these artists as like still with us. I don't know why. Like my husband and I went to the National Gallery and I was rushing through I wasn't trying to rush too much, but I was rushing to try to go see my friends. It felt like my friends like had to go see Matisse. And I'm like, oh, I have to go see Van Gogh. We can't leave without seeing Van Gogh. You know what I mean? So I feel like I can never, for some reason, I sometimes forget that these artists are no longer with us. I just want to keep them in, refer to them in the present tense. I'm doing the table now. And it's weird. It's hard because I'm not using, I'm just using watercolor. Mainly just to see how everything bleeds together. And like I said, I'm only doing a part of it. Just being inspired by the looseness of everything. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. And right now I'm just still using watercolor. Ooh, that's a nice blue. I don't even know what color that is. That's the downside of me putting these colors down and then forgetting what they are. I'm sure I wrote down, I made one of those little keys somewhere. I just can't remember where I put them. So I'll have to look later. Alright, so I'm just with watercolor being wishy-washy with everything. And with the paints, I'm just dipping and dabbing. I'm not even really looking at what colors I'm doing. It's kind of like a nice little surprise what I'm finding here. Okay, now I'm going to do the lower window. We just jumped right in here, so if you have any questions, please let me know. Let's see here. Put it in the chat, por favor. And here's the, I'm putting it in the chat again, the link to the reference photo, just in case, because sometimes, like I said, it's a little glary. I'm doing the outside now. Ooh. See, the more I look at this, I'm like, oh, that's a flower. Oh, that's a leaf. I love these artist studies and just being inspired by their amazing work. I'm not trying to be exact. I'm just kind of getting the spirit or the expression of how it looks. Remember, we're not trying to go for perfect. All right, now I'm going to use a marker to do the outlines of like this black outline of this jug. There's a knife right here. I'm gonna add that. And then some organic shapes happening. Another jug that's a little bit more loose, not totally defined. And then there's another jug up here. Just really fast, I'm just jumping around. This is just our warm-up, so not everything has to be perfect. Now this looks like a pumpkin of some sort, so I'm going to add that. I'm giving ourselves maybe like 5 more minutes for this warm-up, just because time zooms by so quickly. I hope your February is off to a awesome start. It has been so cold here in New York, but last week I did see, was it last week or the week before? 3 robins. So I'm thinking, amidst all the snow, I saw 3 robins. So I'm thinking that spring is just around the corner. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Spring is almost here. Does anybody else live in upstate New York or in the cold areas? I feel like, Barbara, you're always so warm and sunny there in California. Hopefully it's not raining. Does anybody else? If you do, put it in the chat so that I can know that there's other people freezing cold with me. I still have my coat behind my coastal Delaware, Phoebe says. Oh, you got sun today. Awesome. That's always nice when the sun starts to actually feels warm and it's not what is it called? When you look outside and it looks warm but then it's really freezing cold. Marilyn 2 Jean says, I live in Western New York. Okay, so yours is cold too, probably. It's got to stay warm. Though it's starting to turn around, like I said, hopefully. All right, so now I'm going to add some details using a marker. Nope, not a marker, a pencil. Prismacolor pencils. Does anybody else have them? I just find that they are super duper awesome when it comes to details. I use them all the time. I've tried so many, but I have to say, I keep coming back to Prismacolors. I just like them a lot. I also have tried Lyra. I don't have it here. The Graduate brand, and those are not expensive, but they work really well. Let's see here. Joey says, Michigan, been cold but warmer yesterday today. That's great. And yes, Prismas are amazing. Okay. So like I said, I'm only doing a part of this, and I'm just focusing on this little corner. And as you know, I get distracted and I just want to talk the whole time. So I have to look and focus. How's it looking for you? Got about 2 minutes. And then we'll take a peek. Adding the red roof outside. Sometimes when I look at this, I get jealous of their view. It's like, wow, what was Raoul looking at? Okay, so as we're writing, I'll tell you a little bit more about him. Fauvist. In 1905, he embraced Fauvism after seeing Matisse. How can we not? I feel like there's a little bit of Fauvist in all of us. Matisse's work is just so colorful and inspiring. It's very hard not to be inspired. Just drawing some of the landscapes back here loosely. And let's see here. Just checking on our folks' YouTube. Okay, everybody seems to be doing well. Linda says, Windsor outside Binghamton. Okay, so stay warm, Linda. Let's see here. I sometimes get so excited chatting, then I forget what I'm doing. Does anybody else do that? Like, what I love too, two things that I love. I love to chat, and I also love that he doesn't care about things going through, like the line is going through the jug and the vase. It's like, oh, just put it on there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that is the kind of art that I can relate to. The not so perfect art. I'm just adding details with the, what is this called? Color pencils. And I'm getting paint all over my hand, but that's okay. And doing some leaf work here. Doing some gardening. We're gardening right now. Adding some shadows just for fun. Oh, we went over time a little bit here, but that's okay. Just gonna add a little bit shadow here, a little bit of shadow in different spots. All right. And then now we're gonna do my favorite part. So that's my rendition, which, you know, messy, but it's just part of Raoul Dufy's painting, which I'm not gonna even try to say what the name is, but it is gouache on paper. Oh, I should have used gouache. I didn't even read that, but that's okay. I like using watercolors also. All right, so I am going to remove the pin from myself, and I would love to see how yours is turning out. Let me see. Strangely, I had my view to view so many at one time. I don't know how I did this to myself, but now it just shows a lot, which is great. I see everybody, but when I take a picture, it's not so easy, but that's okay. All right, let's take a peek. Whoa, Leslie, how did you get so much done? I'm gonna pin Leslie. This is not gonna hurt Leslie, I promise. Pin, look at that. Whoa, that is beautiful. I need to stop talking because you folks get so much more done than me. I'm jealous. Pamela, oh Pamela, good to see you. Hi Gail. Laura, oh beautiful Laura. That looks gorgeous. Okay, if you could hold it up so that I can take a quick picture. Okay, I'm about to take a picture. All right, so I'm gonna hold it up and let's see here. Smile if you wish, or if you don't wish, that's okay. But hold it up and I'm going to take a picture in 3, 2, 1. Click. Okay, I'll do one more because I missed Heather's. One more. Sorry, folks. Thank you for your patience. Okay, 1, 2, 3, click. Beautiful. Leslie, the colors and looseness is lovely. Yes, Phoebe, I totally agree. 500%. It is beautiful. Okay, I'm going to pin myself again. All right, awesome work. Awesome job. Okay, so in trying to think about Raoul Dufy's, the way he paints and the way he is just super loose and the bold colors he uses, let's try to do the same with the inspiration photo. So you don't have to do the whole thing, but maybe it'll be fun to do the whole thing. I got all inspired by seeing your beautiful artwork. And let's try that. So I'm going to switch my camera. Okay, I'm going to turn my page over. And I am going to use this page. All right. And those of you that have been cleaning out your closets and trying to use what you have you found sketchbooks that you didn't know you had? Like, you're like, whoa, I didn't even know I had this particular sketchbook. This I forgot I had. I had put it away, and it's so nice to find it again. All right, so for this, I'm going to start with a pencil, just to give myself a little bit of a map. And I can't remember if this shows up. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, this is a watercolor pencil by Derwent, and those of you that have taken some classes with me before, I love using a watercolor pencil because it dissipates, but I also like that it stays a little bit. So I'm just going to do a quick, what stands out to me. I think I'm going to start with this blue vase. I don't know why. I'm just going to be super loose in drawing it. And whatever shape feels good. Jean says, I found 2 books I had started and a bunch of mark making tools. Oh, that's great. It's almost like treasure hunting when you find things that you end up finding because you didn't know you had. It's like, oh, treasure. Okay, so here is, I'm going to remind myself that this needs to be dark. Then I'm going to do this. I'm just picking and choosing kind of like what I want to paint. You can paint the whole thing, or you could pick and choose, which is what I'm doing. I guess I should draw the table too. I'm trying to keep myself in the mindset of Raoul Dufy. One of the things that he did too is he was I have my little cheat sheet here. His style, as you can see, bright, thinly applied colors over white background. I think that's what we did earlier. But he was also a pattern designer, like a textile designer, which I thought was really cool. That used to be me in a lifetime ago, it seems like, where I would do surface design. So maybe that's why his artwork really just captured my attention. My vase seems really big, but that's okay. This one is the one that is... You might have to revisit this beautiful scene because it's full, just chock full of inspiration now that I'm looking at it. I mean, I noticed it before, but I'm really seeing it now. Like, there's a lot to paint here. Let's see. And I am just I'm like not following what it is here. I'm just kind of making it up as I go, which is totally fine because this is your art. Do whatever you would like. Here's the back. Just gonna add that right here. And then maybe, oh, I love the little loose leaves just kind of strewn about. All right, so that is my sketch. Sandra's asking, why do you have, I'm new to your videos, why do you have Legos on your table? Oh, Sandra, I thank you for that question. It's because this is a great brush holder. So I just use it for a brush holder, and I use Legos all the time for making squares. Let's see if I can show you an example. Hang on 1 second. See how, no, that's not really a good example. Here's squares. So these, I try to use Legos for all of my little squares. Oh, here we go. So that's why there's Legos. And then I sometimes use them as a viewfinder, but that's a great question. All right, so some paint got on my... I'm just using my shirt to erase. Okay, so now I'm gonna dive right in. This blue is just speaking to me so much. The deep blue vase. Is anybody else liking that? I'm mixing a blue here. I'll show you what I'm doing. I am just taking, because I forgot what the names of my paints are, I'm assuming this is a brown here, adding it to some of the ones that look like a blue. And you do not have to paint like this. This is just me testing things out. If you don't like to mix your colors up and make a mess, you do not have to do that. It's just my way of messing around and not making things so precious. Because sometimes I get frozen by a supply, or like I get distracted and I don't want to mess up a color. This way I don't even think about it. I just go for it. There's my vase. Now I'm gonna do this bright yellow. Has everybody been staying well? I hope. There's been a lot of flu going around, especially, knock on wood. My kid seems to have been okay so far, but I know some folks have been had to take off work for a while for the flu that's been going around. So hopefully you are staying healthy. When my kids were little, I would get sick all the time and think about how I'm boosting my immune system. That's what it is, right? Trying to put a positive spin on being sick. You're boosting your immune system. Okay, I'm doing the red, the reddish. Everybody's so quiet and focused. I'm going to do the reddish table. And while I'm doing that, I'll tell you a little bit more about Raoul. Hopefully you got to watch a video. There's not too many videos of him, but he does have a brother that also paints, which I thought was very cool. They did kind of the same, and they almost have the similar style of work. Let's see here. So I told you he designed textiles. He also created ceramics, tapestries. So definitely worth looking at his art when you have a chance. And then maybe some of you love to travel. Maybe on your travels, bring your sketchbooks and kind of do the same thing. Just be loose. Look out the window of your, wherever you're staying, and be loose with your painting. So I'm just going to take my tissue now, and I'm going to add texture by dabbing. This vase, I'm going to start with, I think I'm going to draw in it. Just some flowers. Just remember, keeping it loose. Channeling Raoul Dufy. Hopefully I'm saying it right. But if not, you know who I mean. And now I'm going to add some of the leaves. So fun. Thank you all for joining me here. It makes it more fun when there's a group of us painting together. I don't know about you, but I really, really enjoy it. I love seeing what everybody's doing, seeing the work and how it's coming out. Okay, I'm gonna do the background. It's like a tealish color. Don't have that, so I'm just gonna make it up. That is the challenge of not having all the supplies, is trying to make things up as I go along. Whoops. Whoops, that is too blue. So I'm gonna add some green. Just being loose and putting a lot of paint in. I guess what you could do too, which I didn't do, but I guess you could if you wanted to use a bigger brush for the background. I always forget that. And I also like that this background has a little bit of purple, just to add drama. Who doesn't like to add drama to their painting? All right, and then I'm just being loose and not really focusing too much on getting it perfect. I always have to just say that, just so sometimes it's like, this is looking too, it's not looking like how I want it to. That is not the goal. The goal is to practice, be free, try new things. All right. While everything is still wet, I'm going to try to do the grapes. So I tend to just jump around and kind of work where it's dry. While we're doing this and we're just painting, I want to just encourage you for homework. Yes, there's homework. Try to see if you could do the same maybe with your interior. Like a favorite spot in your home maybe? What space inspires you the most? I love being here in the studio office space, so maybe I could paint, what's outside my window. And while you're going, I am going to look on YouTube. We have a couple questions here. Zany Love, can I get on the email list? Yes, if you look on the description of the video, it will have information on how to sign up. Let's see. Leah says, what pencil did I use? It is water soluble. Yes, it is a Derwent watercolor pencil that is water soluble. I hope that helps. Let's see. And Linda, thank you so much for your questions and also for answering my questions. I appreciate it, Linda. All right. So hopefully, I'm just kind of waiting for things to dry here, so I'm just taking a second. How's everybody else doing? Everybody good? So focused. All right. I'm like feeling like my painting needs a little bit more oomph, so I might add some, these are just Pentel color fine point markers, and I might just add some marks because I'm feeling like things are kind of static. Need to add energy. So I'm gonna do that. This is the vase over here. Oh, with the pink flower. I didn't even notice that. Did anybody else notice that there's a pink flower falling out of it? Huh. I'm gonna add that then. This is an Opera Rose. This paint set comes with an Opera Rose. Sign up for... Oh. Hi, Debbie and Levine family. Sign up for what? Do you have other classes I have to take? Would love to. Oh, this is just the Painting with Joy. Somebody on YouTube was asking about where to sign up to take the classes, I think. So I told them.
These classes
yes.
that we're taking right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, got
Yep. I think so. I hope I answered the right thing.
Yeah. I'm like, what am I missing?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think it's this. But yes. So I'm just mixing the dark blue. They're almost like black leaves. Does anybody know what kind of flower that is or leaf? Is there a horticulture? How do you say that? A person that studies plants. So just a reminder, or you probably already know. English is a second language for me, so I can never, some words I can't say, but it's the person that takes care of plants. Horticulturist? Is that right?
Horticulturalist.
Okay.
Horticulturist.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. That one is a hard one to say for me for some reason. Oh, I'm splashing. I love the splashes. Loving the splashes. Oh, and then as I'm talking here with you, or I'm noticing, see, I notice things after. Look at these beautiful purple flowers. Wow. I'm gonna have to add those. And I'm just being loose here, just making marks. And maybe later I'll add more to that. But yeah, I said I wasn't gonna be able to look on YouTube, but for some reason the software that I'm using is actually showing me the comments, which is great. Then I can answer some of them as I'm going along here. I didn't even know it had that feature. All right, so I'm adding the leaf here. And zooming back out just to look. I'm tempted to have you raise up what you're working on right now, but I also don't want to mess up your work, so I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes before I check in. I'm just gonna keep going. Just trying to be inspired by, I'm making up colors as I go along now here. Raoul Dufy. Let's see, what else? The bowls we can add. There's really dark colors in the background. I'm gonna add that. And I'm just using my round brush here. And then I'm probably gonna use as you can see, I'm not using my oil pastels right now. They are not within arm's reach. So normally I would just have them with me, but I don't right now. So I'm making do with what I have. Slowly trying to unearth the florals that are within this vase. Just sketching some more with the pencil. But as we're doing this, was it Heather that said they're using Donna also and Heather trying to draw on an iPad. So if you have an iPad, definitely try to see if you can get Procreate, and that is a fun tool for drawing. Oh, I just dipped my pencil in the water. It was not my regular pencil that I use, but a different one. Let's see. I accidentally clicked on something and then all my photos showed up. Sometimes that happens. The tech, it gets me every time. Okay, I'm going to paint the inside of this vase, which you can't see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an actual color pencil and I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna do orange. I know that's kind of crazy since it's not the same color, but I'm just inspired to try something different. And sometimes when inspiration strikes, you just have to try it, and then you can find out whether you like it or not. So don't ever be afraid, especially in a sketchbook, just go for it. Try to see what speaks to you. That's a lot of times how I learn. Because if not, I'm just gonna, like I kind of get frozen and don't want to try new things. But in a sketchbook, you're free to just paint and mess around. You can even add the yellow frame there if you want. I didn't yet. I may in a little bit here. As you can see, I'm jumping around everywhere. Let's see. Don't forget those shadows, if you can see them. I'm kind of adding a little bit of that. For drama. Linda says, I love what you're doing. Thank you, Linda. I'm feeling kind of sometimes lost, like what am I doing? But that's a part of the journey, right? The art journey, where you kind of don't know where you're going, and you just kind of try to find your way as you're going along. So I appreciate the encouragement. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to add, what else? I want to add another vase right here. I think this is a vase. Oh yeah, it is a green vase. As we're going through this, I'm noticing things more and more, and then I get inspired, like, oh, I didn't even know that was there. See, that's the beauty of taking the time to look. Which I just got inspired by the picture and I didn't really dig in, and so now I'm diving deep. Now that it's kind of dried, I'm going to add the flowers to this green. It's kind of messy, but that's okay. Also bright yellow, but my brush is dirty, so I'm going to try to clean it a little. Are you getting paint splatters everywhere? I kind of like that. It adds to the energy of the piece, right? The paint splatters. I'm going to take my watercolor, my color pencil, and I'm going to try to bring out these flowers. One thing that you could do too is if you have markers, you can use that to bring out some of the colors. I just have these little markers. I don't have the super dark ones close by, the bigger ones that I normally use. So adding some shadow here. I was looking at a painting in the National Gallery, and I was just wowed at some of the shadows and the detail that some of the artists were able to capture. Have you ever seen John Singer Sargent's work? Like beautiful watercolors and just gorgeous oil paints. It always makes me cry. Every time we went to see it again, like I said, a couple weeks, was it just a couple weeks ago? The 17th. Went to Washington, D.C. for a little trip. And it always just brings me to tears looking at his work. Like, so amazing, the amount of detail. So if you ever get a chance, definitely check out his work. I'm just messing around now, just adding details in the background. What I'm doing is I'm trying to find my shapes. since because it's so loose, I'm slowly trying to find the shape. So I'm just outlining it with a pencil, if that makes sense. And then I'll add some more lines to the other shapes. Just kind of a mix of the two. Mix of the loose and mix of the more refined. Right, so keep going. I'm going to keep going too. I've been looking forward to this all week. Just wanting to paint with you all. It's been a long week. Have you ever had a day where every day of the week felt like a Monday? Where it's like, oh man, it's Monday again, but it's Wednesday. Sometimes I just have those days. So this is a nice reprieve from that. So I appreciate you taking the time and coming to hang out. As you can see, I'm just trying to, with my color pencil, out some of the details here. Prismacolor, really great. If you have it in your stash somewhere, you don't have to buy it new. If you have it in your stash somewhere, they're fun to use. They're also fun to use when they're this tiny. I just, I love the challenge of trying to use them when they're small. As silly as that is. Oh, so now I'm just doing like lines with my color pencil. Not perfect lines, kind of like just sketchy. I'm really just taking my pencil and like rolling it with my fingers. So it's almost like it's dancing. Because in nature, nothing's ever perfect. Even with the flowers, they have their own look and feel. So that's what I'm doing. Just kind of messing around in there. All right. This is definitely going to need a second visit later. Just adding some purple for the walls. I'm going to take, I don't even know what color this is because the P901, because I already took off the rest of them. I'm just gonna add, just bring some more of these leaf shapes out. And add some shadow in the back here. All right, just keep going. We have like 7 more minutes. So I'm just gonna check on the folks that are on YouTube. Zany Love, I appreciate it. A botanist, I understand what you're saying. Let's see here. If it's the pencil, watercolor pencil, you could dip in water for a darker line. Pretend you meant to. I always pretend like I'm meaning to do it, but sometimes it's just, an accident and a happy accident, as Bob Ross would say. Let's see here. Yeah, so it says here, you don't have to buy a whole lot of anything if you just have something that works. Just use what you have. That's what we're trying to do this year, is just use what we have. It's a use what we have year. My table looks a little bit weird, but that's okay. I think like our inspiration artist, I'm just gonna leave it kind of messy. And now I'm going to finishing touches. Time always flies by when we're doing this. Can you believe it's 6:54? Like, what? It's crazy. Oh, I see Leslie's using a blow dryer. Is that a blow dryer? Smart. Oh, it's like an art dryer. I love it. The tools that let me think. is a hair dryer an art tool? What if my hair dryer fails me and then I need to buy a new hair dryer, but then I can also use it for art? Is that cheating? I don't know if that's cheating or not. No, okay, Leslie says no. Okay. Because I'm using it for other things, right? Anything to justify buying something new that would help my artwork. Jean said, I found this dryer on Amazon. Oh, cool. Okay. I know Amazon, I can't be there too long because it knows what to show me. It knows that I love Crocs. So it'll always show me these like new Crocs that are coming out. And then it knows that I love art supplies. So it's always like, what about this? And I have to just be like, you cannot get me, not this year. I'll add it to my list, but not this year. I'm going to try to use what I have. Okay, these are the grapes. I'm just making them stand out a little bit more. And then I'm just going to add, these flowers need a little bit of help. So I'm just going to give them more of a flower shape. I can't wait to see what you all have come up with. I'm excited to see. Okay. I'm going to just keep going here for a couple more minutes. And I've already splattered a little. And the cool thing about this painting, or this, not painting, but this reference photo is it's already textured. So you could just like, if you want to splatter some more, you certainly can. And I'm going to do that. Just going to splatter some more, because the back is already textured. Okay, so while you're doing that, finishing up, I just want to, before we let the people on YouTube go, I'm just going to say thank you again for joining me. And I really appreciate you spending the time just hanging out. If you would like to sign up underneath this video on YouTube, there should be a sign up on how to get to Painting with Joy, and then you can join us on Zoom where you can get to share what you're working on or do this stuff with us as we're going along. Also, don't forget your homework, which is to try to look outside your window or pick your favorite room in your house and try to channel Raoul Dufy and paint in a loose style. Or as another option for homework, you could just try to recreate this again. So totally up to you. But definitely check out the Pinterest page that I shared, because that has a lot of super duper inspiration. All right. So those of you that are on YouTube, I will say goodbye. And I hope you have a great rest of